Assalamu alaikum students. Today my topic is atomic structure by Iqbal Bajwa. So as you know that chemistry based on the atoms, so we need to understand, we need to know about the structure of atom. So first of all we have to study the particles in an atom. So there are three fundamental particles are subatomic particles: protons, neutrons and electrons. Atoms are made up of subatomic particles called protons, neutrons and electrons. Now if you look into the detail of these particles, as proton, the symbol is P, relative mass is 1 and relative charge is +1. So proton, they carry positive charge. Neutrons symbol is N, relative mass is 1 and relative charge is 0. Electron, their symbol is symbol of the electron is E, relative mass of the electrons is 1 over 1840 and the relative charge is -1. So if we look this table is very informative table which describes about the informations about the masses and the charges on these three fundamental or subatomic particles. So now it is very clear that proton, they have positive charge and electrons, they have negative charge. And remember students, the positive charge of is equal to the negative charge of electron. So we can say in an atom the positive charge particles, they are always equal to the negative charge particles. So when they are equal, so overall they cancel out the effect of each other. As a result, atom is electrically neutral. Next is about the proton number and nucleon number. So these are very the particular terms that we have to study. So first of all, what is meant by proton number? Proton number is the number of the protons present in an element. So we can say the proton number of an element is the number of protons in its atom, which is equal to the number of electrons. The nucleon number of an element is the total number of protons and neutrons in its atom. Now protons and neutrons, they are present in the center of the nucleus, center of the atom, which is called nucleus, and the electrons, they revolve around the nucleus. So now the nucleon number is the total number of protons and neutrons, while the proton number is the number of protons, and it is equal to the number of electrons in an atom. And it is not the case for ions. Now you can see this diagram. In this diagram you can see the positive protons, they are present in the nucleus, neutrons are present in the nucleus, and the negative charge particles, electrons, they are revolving around the nucleus. The next is the isotopes. Isotopes is very important term. Atoms with the varying number of neutrons. You can simply you can say these are the atoms with the varying number of neutrons. So if we want to define it, so we can define the isotopes, the term isotopes. These are the atoms of the same element with the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. So remember, the one thing which is common in isotopes is the having the same number of protons, while the thing which is different is the difference in the number of neutrons. So for example, if we talk about the chlorine, so chlorine has two isotopes, and in both isotopes the mass, the proton number and nucleon number is 17. In one isotope is 1735, in other is 1737. So their proton number is different, same, but nucleon number is different. Now you can see this table. This table clearly tell you about the differences between what are the similarities and what are the differences. Now look for the similarities. The number of protons, number of electrons, they are same, but the number of neutrons, they are different on the other side. Proton number same, mass number different. Chemical property is very important thing. All the chemical properties in isotopes, they are similar, while their physical properties, like for example the rate of diffusion and other, they are different. Now isotopes, the example, chlorine is the only element which has its AR in a decimal form. Now this question can be asked, that how we can identify the isotopes from the periodic table. Yes, most of the time when you deal with the periodic table, if you look the mass of the element in decimal, so you can estimate, you can say this element might be present, might be having the isotopes. Now chlorine relative mass is 35.5 according to the periodic table. This half number is explained by the presence of isotopes and not because it contains half a proton or neutron. You can see chlorine, the one isotope having the proton number, the both having the proton number 17, but for one isotope of chlorine, the nucleon number is 35 and for other it is 37. Now 35, you can see its percentage is 75%, while the percentage of 37 chlorine is 25%. Now this is very simple to find out the relative atomic mass from the given percentages, and these are also called as isotopic abundances. So from isotopic abundances we can find the relative atomic masses of the elements. Now the next is the relative atomic mass. What is relative atomic mass? So first of all we need to define it. The relative atomic mass of an element is defined as the ratio of the average mass of an atom to the 1/12 the mass of the carbon atom. So it means whenever we have to take relative atomic mass or the mass of any element, so you always compare with the mass of the element with the mass of carbon, and that carbon is the isotope having the proton nucleon number as a 12. So carbon 12 is the chosen as the standard atom because its mass of the 12 units has been determined very accurately using modern instruments such as the mass spectrometer. So mass spectrometer is an instrument by which we can find the masses of the elements. This can record the mass and abundance of the different atom as a trace. Now have a look on this one. These are three isotopes. You can clearly see this diagram, the one with the 612, the other isotope with the 613, and the third one is 614. So all these isotopes, the lower number, the 666, they are similar, but the 12, 13, 14, they are different, and they are the nucleon number. Now the arrangement of the particles in an atom. The proton and neutron are held tightly packed together in the center of the atom, which is called the nucleus. The number of particles in the nucleolus is called the nucleon number, and this is equal to the mass number of the element. Because the nucleons contains protons, it is the positively charged part of the atom. Now electronic configuration. Electronic configuration, as we discussed before, might be definitely you have some idea about the electronic configuration. That what is electronic configuration is? It is the arrangement of electrons in different shells, in different circular paths. What is shell? Shell is the circular path around the nucleus where electrons can revolve. So in first shell can hold maximum up to 2 electrons. The second shell can hold up to 8 electrons, and the third shell can hold up to 18 electrons. So this is the number given that these shells have. Now the periodic table. This table is very important because whenever you have to deal with the atomic structure or chemical bonding, so in chemistry, so you have to consult to the periodic table. The periodic table is a tabular arrangement of the chemical elements ordered by atomic number of protons, electron configuration, and recurring chemical properties. This ordering shows periodic turns such as the elements with the similar behavior in the same column. It also shows 4 rectangular blocks with the sum approximately similar chemical properties. In general, with the one row, the elements are metals on the left hand side and the non-metals on the right hand side. Actually, this is the arrangement of the elements given in the periodic table. If you look the periodic table, you will find on the right side the non-metals, and on the left hand side of the periodic table as a metal, group 1, 2 and 3. The horizontal rows of the table are called periods. The vertical columns are called groups. 6 groups have name as well as numbers. For example, group 7 elements are the halogens and the group 8 the noble gases. The periodic table can be used to derive relationship between the properties of the elements and predict the properties of new elements yet to be discovered or synthesized. The periodic table provides a useful framework for analyzing chemical behavior and is widely used in chemistry and other sciences. Now, this is the brief look of the periodic table. You can see the periods and the groups in this periodic table. Now, metals. In the periodic table, you can see a staircase line starting at the boron atomic number 5 and going all the way down to polonium atomic number 84, except for the germanium and antimony. All the elements to the left of that line can be classified as a metals. So, again this is the arrangement. So, these metals have properties that you normally associate with the metals you encounter in everyday life. Now, these metals have properties that you normally associate with the metals you encounter in everyday life. They are solid, they are shiny, they are ductile, they are malleable, and all these metals tend to lose electron easily. So, they are good conductors of electricity. Again, this is the look of the periodic table. And non-metal, except for the elements that border the staircase line, the elements to the right of the line are classified as non-metal along with the hydrogen. Non-metals have properties opposite those of the metals. The non-metals are brittle, not malleable or ductile, poor conductors of both heat and electricity, and tend to gain electrons in chemical reaction. Some non-metals are liquids. These elements are shown in the following figure. Now, these are the you can see the examples that of non-metals. Inert gases. The noble gases make a group of chemical elements with the similar properties. Under standard condition, they are all odorless, colorless monoatomic gases with very low chemical reactivity. The 6 noble gases that occur naturally are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. So, which is radioactive element. For the first 6 periods of the periodic table, the noble gases are exactly the members of the group 8 of the periodic table. Noble gases are typically highly unreactive except when under particular extreme condition. The inertness of the noble gases makes them very suitable in application where reactions are not wanted. For example, argon is used in light bulbs to prevent the hot tungsten filament from oxidizing. Also, helium is used in breathing gas by the deep sea divers to prevent oxygen and nitrogen toxicity. Now, you can have a look of these gases in the form of the diagrams. So, this was all about. Thank you so much.